1 in 2 women are going to find a lump in their breast in their lifetime. And that means that if this were to happen to you or a loved one today, there would be no good clinical solutions to address the physical and psychological outcomes of the breast cancer surgeries. 1 in 2. I'm Dr. Andrew Weems. I founded Resilient Medical and co-invented the Bravo scaffold platform as a solution to this problem. Last year, 370,000 breast cancer diagnoses were made in the US, and the CDC expects that there will be more than 430,000 by 2030. There were also more than 500,000 lumpectomy surgeries performed in the US, greater than the number of diagnoses that were made. As we become better at early diagnosis and screening, these numbers are only going to continue to rise. And this is important because lumpectomies represent more than 3% of all major surgeries done in the US today. And despite this prevalence, there are still a number of limitations that patients know of going into these procedures, including that there is a high likelihood of cosmetic changes associated with a lumpectomy, including dimpling or collapsing of the breast, which has enormous psychological implications, pain associated with healing after the surgery, and even complications or prevented healing of the surgical site post-surgery, and an increased risk of secondary cancer related to the radiation therapies that are a requirement for successful lumpectomy procedures. So what Resilient Medical has developed is the Bravo scaffold, which is implanted during the lumpectomy procedure. And as soon as it enters the patient, it immediately begins providing mechanical support to the surgical site, thereby reducing the cosmetic change that otherwise would occur without it. Over the course of its lifespan, it will also allow for infiltration of native tissues, and it will slowly erode over 12 to 18 months, ultimately leaving behind nothing but native healthy tissue that has not had any cosmetic changes after the procedure. During this time, it also will serve as a radio target to provide better accuracy, thereby reducing patient risks for radiation boost that would be otherwise delivered. We've validated the performance of the Bravo and our regulatory strategy of navigating FDA with third-party consultants, and we have multiple US and international patents that have been awarded to date. If you look at what is existing in the space currently, there are a number of off-label use devices that have been applied by clinicians in breast cancer care. But predominantly, they focus on mechanical support and the resorption time, how long they're present in the body. They do nothing to address the cosmetic outcomes, and they do nothing about radio targeting. The Bravo is the only product that will be available that offers this unique balance of characteristics necessary to fully address the complications with lumpectomies. And this is very important in a $1.5 billion market. Of our beachhead market of 270 million, it is predominantly made up of clinicians who know that there have been poor performances with other devices, who want the 3D aspect or the cosmetic aspect for their patients, and patients who are specifically choosing surgical procedures because of the cosmetic outcomes and ultimately the psychological implications of what surgery they choose. Early sales of the Bravo will be driven through a distributor-led model, $1,200 price point, and a 93% margin for Resilient. And it will be reimbursed under existing insurance CPT codes. Downstream, we will be able to expand into mastectomy markets, cosmesis and augmentation markets, and reconstructive surgical devices, all of which are multi-billion-dollar markets on their own. To date, we have validated our regulatory strategy. We have completed all of our preclinical testing, save for the final verification of a few mechanical properties and the biocompatibility endpoint. And we have achieved one letter of intent from a distributor with a $50,000 contract for downstream product development. For the remainder of this year, we're going to use the funding that we have raised, $1.5 million, to undertake a 510(k) submission to the FDA, to initiate our first in-woman pilot study internationally, and to finish up our quality system development, as well as to look for breakthrough status in our downstream devices. Next year, with a 510(k) clearance, we will have a product launch in our first sale and begin recruiting for a PMA scale clinical trial to expand the indications for use of the Bravo. The team consists of myself, previous experience in medical device commercialization, including the Impede that's sold by Shape Memory Medical. And I've worked with Elizabeth Lawson to develop the Bravo. She is an oncoplastic breast surgeon specializing in lumpectomy care with more than 30 years of experience, and she was one of the people who introduced lumpectomies in East Tennessee. She has access to a network of 50 hospitals in the region that would allow us for early adoption. Our financial officer is Todd Rossman, and he's had experience raising more than $100 million for medical device startups, including the Ohio-based Neuros. We are raising $3.5 million for our 120 patient PMA scale clinical trial and to expand our team of executives, as well as to undertake our initial product launch next year. With the remainder of this year, we will be undertaking our 510(k) submission and beginning our pilot study internationally. We have developed the Bravo platform, and we hope that you will consider being resilient with us. Thank you.